Hey, friends all over the world, Dr. Kynan here. Listen, I'm sorry I'm in this state right now where I'm laying down. I should probably be sitting up, but I've had a long night. I was in Pittsburgh. In fact, I'm still in Pittsburgh, and I'll be flying out really early in the morning. Well, be flying out early today to go back to Tampa and have a Tuesday night service. But I just thought, let me come on here real quick and make this video. Do me a favor and share. Probably by the time you all see this, I don't know what time it'll be in your time zone, but I want to tell you the shocking truth about the recent Ryan Coogler film called Sinners, featuring Michael B. Jordan and the number of famous actors and actresses. I won't be long in this video, but I'll just tell you. This, first of all, Sinners is a film that has initially got a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, which means it's the most acclaimed film of the decade. $61 million supposedly in the first 48 hours of the film's release. I mean, this will probably reach $1 billion at some point. But the truth of the matter is the film is disturbing. It's disturbing for many, many reasons. Of course, all horror films are disturbing and inherently demonic, but what's more disturbing about this film is people's response to it. You know, there's something called ethnocentrism, which is basically when someone exalts their ethnicity to a certain level of inherent superiority, or I don't know if it's just superiority, but to a certain status. The elements in the film and the symbolism in the film represent a departure from Christianity, Judeo-Christian ethics, into African spiritism, voodoo, hoodoo, witchcraft, and these things were deified and glamorized. They were glorified in this film. Basically, it's a vampire film about a black boy who has the special gift of singing, this sort of, again, this African spiritism, ancestral worship, the preacher's son who is a phenomenal blues singer. And his ability to sing the blues has the power to evoke and invoke the ancestors and even people from the future who have not come into being yet. And there's an interesting scene in the film. I'm not even going to get into the vampirism and all of that and the cultural commentary, but there's a scene in the film where Sammy, the main character of the film, he is singing a blues song. But the blues song opens up this sort of portal spiritually, and all these ancient ancestral performers manifest themselves. It was an interesting thing because it's just kind of like left field kind of thing, but people are praising this, right? And then it gets into a point where you see the Nigerian Kampo dancer. Kampo is an ancient predominantly Igbo demon dance, where they're actually invoking a demonic spirit in their dance. And black folks who don't know their identity in America are attaching themselves to these forms of demonic spiritism because they're ignorant. Most of them have never been to Africa. And if they've been to Africa, they don't understand the nuances of African culture. And so these cultural idioms were placed within the movie as sort of like Easter eggs, right? These symbolisms, but they're all demonic. And I realized something, that what is happening is that society as a whole, but the black community in particular, is being sold a bill of goods. We're being sold the spirit of ancestral worship under the guise of black identity, under the guise of black empowerment. You know what? No matter what is done, as long as it's black empowerment, it's good. And this is the notion and the narrative that's being promoted by these films. The level of the demonic and the level of just perversion that is being promoted, that is being pushed and often pandered, is disturbing. And everybody's, oh man, this is the best film. Oh my God, this film is amazing. And I'm not trying to hate on the creative talent of Ryan Coogler. I believe he's an extremely creative and talented director. I mean, the cinematography, the angles, skill is skill. So I'm not taking away from that. What I'm concerned about, however, is the blind buy-in, especially from the African American community. It's especially from the African American community, because the story, the essence of the movie Sinners, is the rejection of Christ. If you think about it, right? That's why it's called Sinners. The rejection of Christ. Ryan Coogler, in one of his interviews, talks about how when he would listen to the jazz music, he would feel the presence of his dead uncle. This is necromancing, y'all. It's necromancing. It's divination. It's divination. The main character in the film is a backslidden church musician who secretly is a blues player at night, in clubs where women are fornicating, men are fornicating, folks are drunk, and blah, 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 right? And so he chooses that, rejects the call of God, rejects ministry, rejects Christ, and opts for the world, to become a blues performer and to live a life of sin. That's what this is all about. At the end of the day, the ethos of this film is the rejection of God. It's not about vampires. Of course, there's cultural commentary about the white power structures sort of sucking dry the black community, and the vampirism, in other words, cultural appropriation, being a culture vulture, exploiting black art, entertainment, talent, beauty, skill for economic gain. So there are cultural criticisms in the film, cultural commentary in the film, but that is overshadowed by the idolatry of demonic belief systems and ideologies. and the promoting of licentiousness and perversion. And so what this is where the state, the film in this case, is an ode to the old adage that art imitates life. You know, people say, does life imitate art, or does art imitate life? Art imitates life. Because this is where we are. Now, Spike Lee did an interview and he's praising the film. Oh, he's so excited about it. But where are our films about God? About Christianity? It's like there's a rejection of Christianity. There's a rejection of God. And this, I believe, is the problem with the black community in America right now, is the fact that the black community, in many ways, right? I'm not saying everyone in the black community, I'm not saying every person, but in many ways, there are many in the black community who have rejected God. And this is the problem. Share your thoughts.